Good evening, viewers. Tonight we're exposing what might be the most brazen financial scheme in America, one making politicians rich while hiding in plain sight. Have you ever wondered how members of Congress on a $188,000 salary amass fortunes worth tens or even hundreds of millions? Well, our guest has the answer, and it's more outrageous than you might imagine. Yeah, everyone wants to know, how is Nancy Pelosi making all those big bucks? Well, Ross Givens, he's a 20-year market veteran, former VP at JPMorgan Chase. He's documented how politicians like Nancy Pelosi use privileged information to make stock trades that would land ordinary Americans in prison. Yes, from Pelosi's $160 million fortune to suspiciously timed trades just before major government announcements, the pattern is undeniable. And tonight, Ross is going to name the names. He's going to provide examples and reveal how ordinary Americans can level the playing field by legally tracking and copying these very moves. Ross Givens, welcome to the program.
Hey, thanks for having me. It's a pleasure to be here.
It's great to have you here. So, Ross, let's start with the basics, okay? Members of Congress, they earn $188,000 a year, yet many are worth tens of millions of dollars. You've tracked this for years. I'm really excited for this interview, too, because I want to know how Nancy Pelosi is doing this. And, of course, Congress is working on trying to close some of these loopholes so these people can't keep taking advantage. So what's really going on?
Well, Nancy Pelosi is one of the best stock traders on God's green earth. I mean, this woman defies all odds. She's outperformed Warren Buffett. She beats the market every year. You know, she has returns that professionals on Wall Street would kill for. And frankly, it's just not possible to generate these kind of returns without cheating. It is pretty much, in my opinion, a open secret on Capitol Hill that she does this. And she's not alone, right? It's, you know, she's the big names, as you said. She's worth something like $170 million. Over $140 million of that has come from stock trades since 2008 while sitting, as a sitting member of Congress. It's simply not possible. And so, I can give you some examples of just blatant insider trade. So, for example, back in 2021, Joe Biden signed an executive order mandating that the entire federal fleet go electric. Well, 2 weeks before he did that, this one puts $1 million into Tesla call options, which is like a leveraged bet on this stock. And of course, the stock shoots higher as it becomes public. More recently, in 2020,
who did that? Who put the option there? Was it Pelosi?
Yeah, Pelosi did that. Yeah, a lot of these trades are options. So when you're trading stock options, it's like a juiced up way to trade the stock. Options are this big leveraged time-sensitive bet where if the stock doesn't move, you lose all your money. But she did the same thing. Do you remember the CHIPS Act in 2022?
I believe so, yeah.
So the CHIPS Act gave $54 billion in federal subsidies to U.S. semiconductor manufacturers like NVIDIA. Well, just before she passed that, she put $5 million into call options on NVIDIA and made a fortune.
Oh my God.
So she's done this over and over again through the years. She did it with Microsoft in 2021, put $5 million in this stock 2 weeks before the Army announced a $22 billion contract with them for augmented reality glasses. So, she's been doing this for 2 decades, amassing this fortune, and the whole way saying, oh, that's Paul, that's not me. I don't have anything to do with that, right?
Yeah, it's all her husband. Sure.
Yeah, what a coincidence.
Yeah, but unbelievable.
And it's not just her is the thing. I mean, she gets the press because she's been Speaker of the House. She's making $10 million a trade, but tons of these people do it. Like when COVID, the stock market fell 30% in a month after COVID. Turns out something like a dozen senators, after getting briefed on the coronavirus and how bad it was going to be, and the fact that they're going to shut down the economy, which none of us could have foreseen, sold all their stocks to prevent themselves from getting caught up in this. Who was it? Catherine Clark, a representative. She bought in 2020 stock in a little company called HoloLogic. 1 week before this company was awarded a $119 million COVID testing contract. But this woman is literally on the committee that awarded that contract, right? So, this has gone on for years, mostly under the radar because people haven't taken the time and the research to look into this. But, now thanks to people like yourself putting real news out there and the mainstream media being exposed for what it is, we're starting to see this. And Trump's called out Pelosi, and Elon, I think you got the clip pulled up. I mean, he's the smartest man on earth, and he's called it out point blank.
Let's play that clip. This was in the Oval Office on February 11th.
In the bureaucracy, right?
Etc.
Well, we do find it sort of rather odd that there are quite a few people in the bureaucracy who have ostensibly a salary of a few $100,000, but somehow manage to accrue tens of millions of dollars in net worth while they are in that position, which is, what happened to USAID. We're just curious as to where it came from. Maybe they're very good at investing, in which case we should take their investment advice, perhaps. But just there seems to be mysteriously they get wealthy. We don't know why. Where does it come from? And I think the reality is that they're getting wealthy at the taxpayer expense. That's the honest truth of it. So, we're looking at, we just.
Okay, so I mean, what's your take on when you see Elon Musk in the Oval Office, like talking to President Trump, talking to the press, revealing this?
Yeah, well, look, it's confirmation. We've been doing this. So I've been so adamant on this. We've been doing this since 2017 for our members. We track these trades, both politicians and corporate insiders. We follow the stocks. We've never had a losing year.
Wait a second. So you can track this. There's a way you can track what they're doing, and then you can mirror their trades.
100%. And that's the thing most people don't realize. Well, look, we're up 1,900% in 7 years doing this. Trust me, it's a giant gaping loophole. We hold training events 2 or 3 times a year showing people how to follow this stuff. In fact, we have one coming up. It's this Wednesday, March 13th at 3 o'clock Eastern. I think there's probably a link below this video to sign up for that. And it's a free event. It's online. Put your name, email. We'll send you all the details. But yeah,
So hang on. So I can go to this event and I can learn how to do this, like personally, because I don't do stocks. I'm like a Bitcoin guy.
Yeah.
I like crypto and stuff. But like if I could figure out a way to mirror these people. And I'll put $5,000 into this stock. If I see what they're gonna, okay, tell me more. I'm hungry.
Yeah, and look, that's why we do these. We've had overwhelming feedback from these events. I'll just be honest. I've got members who've made hundreds of thousands of dollars following this stuff. Now, like this is the stock market, okay? Full disclaimer, nothing is guaranteed. I'm not saying every single stock they buy doubles the next week, but we've seen stocks go up 500%, 800%. We reckoned one in January that quadrupled in 4 months. We've seen stocks go up 1,900% following this stuff. And all we're really doing is looking for just the obvious standout examples. So political insiders obviously are a big one. You've got 3 senators and 5 members of the House and all these people suddenly piling into this little $2 off-the-radar stock. Odds are something good's going to come.
Okay, so I got to ask you this question. How can this be legal if how do you know where these people are trading? Is there just like a website? How does that happen? How do you figure that out?
Yeah, there's a public database so there's 2. One is for politicians, right? And if you're wondering how is it legal for politicians to do it, well, pretty simple. They're the ones that write the damn laws, right? This is their honey hole. Members of Congress don't leave D.C. poorer than when they came. And while some of them are insanely corrupt and get money through things like USAID and set up these backdoor NGOs in the name of, protecting democracy and funnel money around, most of these guys aren't that smart, right? And the ones that aren't, the easiest way to make money is with a stock tip, right? So you send some money and all this pork to your donors and campaign donors and buddies and things like that. And in return, they might say, hey, Bill, may want to buy this stock sometime in the next week or so. Just, keep that to yourself. And what are you going to do? How do you prove they bought it on inside information? Unless they're dumb enough to leave a paper trail of text messages, saying this is inside information, it's very difficult to prove. And so that's one of their leading sources to make money. And corporate people do it too. You can see when CEOs and chief financial officers and board members, when they're buying their own stock with their own money, especially when it's, for the first time in 4, 5, 6 years, especially when a bunch of them are coming in at once right before drug trials are about to be released, or, some big government contract is pending, and they're kind of showing their hand.
So you have an event that's coming up on the 13th, so people can learn how to do this. I could learn how to do this.
Absolutely, yes. The idea, it's all common sense. It's very straightforward. People just don't know.
And it's 100% legal.
100%. Look, the corporate trades come from the SEC's federal website. That's like as legal. I mean, it's coming from a federal website. It's as legal as it gets. Now, what they do, sure, it's corrupt, right? It's not ethical. But all we're doing is following their trades. We're piggybacking them. Right, we're leveling the playing field. We're saying, all right, scumbags, we're paying your salary. If you want to go make $1 million on this stuff, at least show us what stocks you're buying so we can have the same advantage. And that's all we're doing. And when I lay this out for people, when I show them, okay, here's this stock. Here's the news coming up. Here's all the people that bought it. Look, they've never bought in 4 years, and last time did the stock doubled. It's like, you don't need the Hardy Boys to put this stuff together. Like, it's really straightforward. People just don't know where to find the information. And so that's what we show them how to do. So, yeah, it's Thursday, March 13th, 3 Eastern. Listen, these are online events. They're completely free. It's about 45 minutes to an hour long. You'll never look at stocks the same way. And so there should be a link below. It's like put in your name, email. We'll send you all the information, how to attend. We're even sending out our most recent stocks. If you want to see what we're doing, when you put your cell number in, we're going to automatically send you our most recent pick. It's a full report. You'll see what's available to you out there, and you'll see why this is such a no-brainer opportunity.
Dude, I'm blown away. I'm blown away. I've heard about these types of things before. We've always got on Congress's case about all the insider trading and all the millions, but I never really considered that there was a place you could go and you could. I mean, listen, I'm a news guy. I focus on the news of the day, so I'm not out there looking at people's stock trades.
No, I get it.
Obviously, you're there and you're figuring out.
God bless you. I'm glad you're there. It's people like you that are waking Americans up to what's really going on. This is all I do, though. I sent you a tweet earlier. I don't know if you can pull that up from a guy named Bill Ackman.
Yeah, let's take a look at that.
Now, Bill Ackman is one of the top performing hedge fund managers of all time. Okay, and even he has shared this. Saying, look, there it is. The performance of our politicians is extraordinary. I'm surprised they've launched hedge funds on the side. They make Madoff look like a massive underperformer. And what he's referring to is this report from Unusual Whales. This stuff is all public information. If you scroll up there, these are last year's stock returns for members of Congress. It's 149%, 142%. 123. I mean, these people are doubling their money in the market. Warren Buffett has never had a year that good.
Okay,
and
there's Pelosi right there.
Part-time, placing trades on her cell phone, are putting up track records that Wall Street can't beat.
Oh, there's Dan Crenshaw. Oh, people were ragging on Crenshaw. Okay, so explain these numbers. And 62%. Okay, so let's see. Dan Crenshaw, 61.3%. Explain what that number means.
So that means based on, now they have to report their trades thanks to the Stock Act. So what this company does is track when they report they've bought a stock from that point to the end of the year. So what is the performance of the stocks they've reported buying that year, their stock portfolio, what has it done that year? Now, Crenshaw, I know people are ragging on him. I kind of give him a free pass because I don't think he has a lot of money in the stock market.
He claims to not have a lot of money in the stock market.
I think he's only got because they put little windows in there where it's, they had to put how much stock they bought, but its range is like 25 to 100,000, 100 to 500, 500 to a million, et cetera. And Crenshaw is usually on the low end of that, so I think he probably just got lucky with a couple of picks and had a couple hundred shares. But yeah, Pelosi's doing this with 170 million bucks. Most of these guys are doing it with 7- and 8-figure accounts.
Okay, so when it says looking at Pelosi's number 70.9, she made a 70.9% return on what she put in?
Yeah, every $1 million she had was worth 1.7 at the end of the year. I mean, it's monstrous.
Unbelievable. So I think we need to be following this guy, David Rouser. This guy's killing it, 149%.
Some are consistently better than others, but there's just no look. I've been doing this for 20 years. Okay, like you said,
Susan Collins, 77.5%.
There's no way to produce these kind of numbers. I mean, think about what's going on Wall Street. They got teams of MBA guys. They spend millions of dollars on research. They're the best of the best. They can't put up numbers like this. Pelosi beat every single hedge fund on Wall Street from her damn cell phone.
Oh, my goodness.
You know, it's just not possible. So if people are not following this stuff, I think they're doing themselves a huge disservice, because this is one of those big gaping loopholes available to the general public that I implore people, exploit it while the opportunity is there. Eventually, the political tides will turn so far that they can't do this anymore. But even then, we can still follow the corporate guys. You know, when you got a biotech in the middle of drug trials and 8 employees are loading up on the stock suddenly for the first time out of nowhere, it's like, you know, drug trials are probably going pretty well. Stock's probably going to skyrocket when the news goes public. You know, we bought companies weeks before they get bought out at 80% premiums. We bought an oil stock in 2020 at $3.50 a share.
Wow.
When everyone thought they're going to get creamed. Turned out they'd hedged all their oil production. The stock's up 20 times what it was back then. You know, so you don't need a ton of these. If you get 3, 4, 5 big hits in a year, you can perform like these politicians have.
Oh, my goodness.
And so that's what we hold these training events for. And like I said, we've had a lot of great feedback. I think it's a very eye-opener.
To hell with waiting for XRP to pop, right? Like let's go, let's shadow Pelosi, and then you know, we could buy some exotic cars, right? Like what the hell?
It's been a roller coaster for the crypto guys for sure.
Yeah. So okay, we just looked at the list. We saw, of course, what Elon had presented in the Oval to the president. Are there any other like really egregious examples that you found, like from Congress, that you can point out? I mean, Pelosi's obviously an easy target.
Yeah, no, there's several others. I mean, Cindy Axne, I've just got some notes here. She and her husband are trading Wells Fargo stock while serving on the Financial Services Committee investigating Wells Fargo over the account scandal.
Wow.
Hour was buying defense company stocks the very day Russia invaded Ukraine. Rick Allen is buying Merck Johnson & Johnson while sitting on the subcommittee considering prescription drug price legislation. Pat Fallon bought Microsoft right before a $10 billion cloud computing contract with the Pentagon, then sells the stock before the Pentagon cancels the contract. So if there was any doubt that's why he got in, he got out by the same token. I mean, it's very blatant examples, and a lot of them hide it better. The ones I'm sharing with you are just the, you know, obvious. But
this is all out there. This is all public information that anyone can see, and you're putting it all in one place and making it easy for people to understand it. I mean, like from an investment standpoint, that's amazing. But from like a news gathering standpoint, like I could sign on to this program, and I can like just track it and be like, okay, guys, guess what? You know, we just found out who did this and who did what. I mean, that's crazy.
Yeah, and I kind of think of it like the USAID stuff, right? Anybody in the Treasury could have been digging around and finding all the stuff Elon's found anytime in the last decade, but they haven't done it because it's so much information. You've got to, you know, put together systems to sort and gather this data and put it in a usable format. Now, so that's kind of what we're doing. There's tons of these political trades. There's tons of corporate insider trades. But if you know what to look for and you can filter for those, you can find the big opportunities pretty quickly. And usually 2, 3, 4 times a month, we see one that just looks so egregious and so obvious. And we put the research together and send it to our members. And, you know, again, there's no guarantees, but we've outperformed the market every year since 2017. You know, so it is consistently outperformed, and it's like, you know, if you can't beat them, join them, right? Because so many people want to sit around and get pissed off. That's not fair. These politicians, like, all right, you
stop them, yeah.
I mean, yeah, you can whine, or you can just hop on and make some money with them.
Yeah,
which is, you know, what I prefer to do. But yeah, I encourage people to come to this thing on Thursday. It's pretty incredible what's available to you.
Wow, Ross, this is amazing. You know. Let's talk about the Stock Act real quick, and then we got to bounce. But the Stock Act was supposed to prevent this kind of activity, right?
Yeah.
But why has it failed to stop what appears to be like rampant insider trading?
Well, the Stock Act, again, was drafted by Congress to police themselves. So you can imagine it hasn't gone very well. In fact, a couple of of bills introduced to ban members of Congress have been stopped in their tracks. Pelosi brought one of them to a vote at like midnight on New Year's Eve to make sure nobody was there to vote for it. But the main problem with the Stock Act is what it does is require them to report the trades. So that's why we can see them. But if they break the rules, if they fail to report on time, they don't report at all, it's a $200 fine.
$200 fine?
Pelosi's made $7.5 million trading NVIDIA. So the $200 fine is basically just a tax to cheat.
Unbelievable. Wow. Okay, so let me ask you this, though. Why isn't this getting more attention? Like, why isn't it getting more attention? Mainstream financial media, even Elon Musk, Joe Rogan, they've started talking about it like we showed. But financial networks are reluctant to dig any deeper.
They are, because look, they want these people on their shows, right? I mean, they want senators and representatives to come on and be a guest. And if you just trash them in the media, they're not going to look at you as friendly and want to come on. The other thing, and this is kind of my controversial take on it, is they're not really hurting anybody. And let me just explain that. Like, I'm not saying what they're doing is good and moral. It's not okay they're making money while serving the public. But when they make money on a stock by buying it and it goes up, that doesn't come from anybody else. No one else is losing, right? Everyone else who owns the stock's also making money. It's not like USAID and its fraud and corruption where they're truly taking tax dollars that you and I worked for. So if I'm Elon or I'm Trump really, and you want to go after something, I'm probably not going to waste the political capital and tick off half of Congress who you need to go after them for this, when you've got this giant, what appears to be trillions of dollars worth of blatant fraud, waste, abuse, and corruption going on. So I think that the reason it's not gotten even more press is simply that it is not near the size of a problem as the 150-year-olds collecting Social Security and the plumber who got a 3-month contract that's been getting paid for 30 years.
Okay, final question. Do you see any hope for meaningful reform to stop this practice, or should Americans simply focus on learning how to profit alongside the political class?
Well, like I said, I don't see it stopping anytime soon. The only way I can see this stopping is maybe under a Democrat in office or way back into Trump's, his 3rd or 4th year when he's accomplished everything he wants to. Because, again, I think he's really going to burn a lot of political capital to do it. I hope they don't ban it. I mean, I don't like these guys getting rich any more than you do. But if they're going to get rich, I'd love it to be in a way where I can copy their trades and make money alongside them. As far as the corporate insiders doing this, that I definitely don't see coming to an end. And that's an even bigger loophole. So, look, it's possible it comes to an end, but I mean, if it is, that's just all the more reason to take advantage of it while we can.
Amazing. Ross, thank you so much for joining us and shining light on this issue that affects every American taxpayer and investor, and of course, showing us how we can piggyback on it. This is great stuff.
Oh, thanks. It's my pleasure, and I appreciate you having me on, Gary.
All right, Ross, thank you. I want to have you back on. I want to get some more tips. All right, there you have it, folks. What Ross Givens has just revealed isn't just a financial scandal. It's an illustration of how the powerful play by different rules than the rest of us. While ordinary Americans face prison time for insider trading, our elected officials appear to be enriching themselves with impunity, transforming modest government salaries into vast personal fortunes through suspiciously timed stock trades. But knowledge is power. By understanding how this system works, everyday investors now have the opportunity to level the playing field and potentially profit from the very same information that Nancy Pelosi has been exploiting for decades. So if you're interested in learning more about how to identify and follow these insider trades, Ross's free training event this Thursday could be, Thursday the 13th, could be your entry point into a strategy that has historically outperformed the markets by substantial margins. We'll see you at the next report. I'm Gary Franchi for the Next News Network. I got to go find some money now and figure out how I can be as rich as Pelosi. We'll see you guys.